says we're back on board with the circuit here at Piha. Here's the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come. What a crack! Oh, crack!
Welcome to Retro Motorsport F27 and lots more local motorsport from the past. It's a jam-packed show this week. First up, it's drag racing with the 2004 South Island Nationals from Ruapuna.
Hi folks, and welcome along to our coverage of the Powerbuilt Tools National Drag Racing Association points meeting here at Powerbuilt Tools Dragway. We're in Christchurch for round one of a 4-round series. Next stop will be in Masterton, and then we'll be up in Auckland at Champion Dragway for the final 2 rounds. Got great conditions down here in Christchurch. The weather is playing its part. A big crowd has rolled in, and we've got a fantastic car count. And who knows, maybe we'll see the 200-mile-an-hour bracket broken here in Christchurch. Well, this is what it's all about. This is the view from inside the cockpit, and you can see for yourself how busy the driver is. And this is all happening in less than 8 seconds. Look at that, through the gearbox, both hands back on the wheel, and then the chute pull, and then you are stopping, and the run is over. Top Alcohol is the premier class in New Zealand drag racing, and this is the fastest rail in New Zealand at the moment. This is the Harcourt's hauler, Chris Johnson, the pilot.
Tried to make the car a little bit lighter. It was easier to make the car lighter than to make the driver lighter, so we've done that. We tried to make the car a bit more aerodynamic to get it down there a bit quick.
This is Auckland's Mark Vincent, one of the 20 North Island cars here at Ruapuna for round one of the Drag Racing Association series.
Well, fortunately we have a setup from when we were down here at Easter in the clutch department, so we don't have to work on that. So we'll just do a half pass to start with, sort out some sort of fuel curve and a fuel system readout. But apart from that, we'd like to think first round of competition we're going to be on the pace.
Well, I'm joined in commentary by the voice of New Zealand drag racing, that is Kevin Manuel Stevens. And Manuel, first round of the Drag Racing Association races. What are you expecting? Are we going to see the Magic 200 today?
I'd like to think so. At the top division, Top Alcohol, they'll be looking to get early points and good competition runs under their belt.
Well, Auckland is first up, and here it is on the replay, and you see the Harcourt's hauler just leaving a little bit on Mark Vincent in the freight train, the double-engine dragster. Oh, and some problems there, by the look of it, a little bit of smoke coming from the back engine. You'll see it there from the reverse shot, and I guess that's going to have Mark Vincent and the crew a little bit worried. Second pair of qualifiers now in Top Alcohol, and in the funny car it is Brendan Side, and alongside of him it is Brian Norman. Now, Brian Norman won this event last year at Ruapuna.
Length of the frame a bit this year, and we haven't finished covering it in, but that's a work in progress. We had a mishap right at the end last season, blew the motor up, and we've rebuilt that. Haven't really changed anything, just new parts to replace the broken ones. But being a wee bit longer and a bit more flexible with a new frame at the front, we're hoping that'll handle the track a bit better.
So we watch as they come into the staging area. Front engine rail of Norman there. You heard him say they've lengthened the chassis this year. Manuel, the funny car sort of slipped under the radar a wee bit last year, certainly the Nationals at Champion and here as well, but these guys can really run hard.
They were looking good at the Nationals last year. They ran a personal best of 7001. They're looking good today.
So that is, the funny car takes the win. Here it is on the replay, and have a look at the funny car in lane number 1, just leaves on Brian Norman, 737 at 190 miles an hour. That's a great way to start. Semi-final time now for Chris Johnson and Mark Vincent. They have repaired the oil leak in the freight train, the RPM Engineering freight train. This is Chris Johnson. Get a great look at him in the cockpit. Just about set to go. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a single Manuel. Some more problems for Mark Vincent.
Yes, they were looking at the ignition system, so I think they lost one of the magnetos in one of the engines.
Well, here we are on board with Chris Johnson, and look at this. If you've ever wanted to do 200 miles an hour on the front straight at Ruapuna, here's your opportunity. 6 177, 200 miles an hour. That's got to fill these guys with heart because it's early on in the season, and that's a fantastic result.
That's starting where they want to continue, certainly.
Semi-final time now, and it's the pairing we saw before. Norman on lane number 1, and he's just about on the grass, and he's taken out the lights, I think, Manuel. I think he's taken out the timing lights.
Yep, you just see in the replay here, he's having trouble controlling it as those front wheels come up. Now he's doing a lot of driving duties. He's off to the side of the track. He's got to hang on to it, and he does clip the timing beam and puncture a tyre, I would say.
Well, while Brian's having all that problem, Brendan Side has driven around him and recorded a time of 7:41, 1:79. Probably not good enough to give him lane choice against this bloke. 200 miles an hour, that must give the team real heart with the season sort of just starting to unfold.
Yeah, definitely. We're sort of right back where we were at the finish last season, and we've done quite a bit of work on the car, so yeah, no, it's worked out good.
Conditions are changing a bit here, can we expect more?
Yeah, well, you possibly can, but it's just how much this track can take. And if the sun disappears and the track gets a bit cooler, it might not handle what we want to throw at it.
Well, the big crowd have been waiting for this. This is the final of Top Alcohol. Brendan Sibe there in the funny car, already run a 7:41, 1:79, but this man has gone over 200 miles an hour, and that's the first for the season here at Ruapuna. So watch for Chris Johnson in the rear engine rail up against the funny car. They come into stage now. They're very careful to stage shallow as we get set for the final in Top Alcohol. Manuel, you got to put it on you. It's got to be the Harcourt Hauler.
Yes, Chris Johnson's got a lot more experience. He was probably at drag racing tracks before Brendan Sibe was born, but that's no guarantee. A race is a race.
And look at that, the funny car leaves first, but watch the rail, just drives around him, and we're going to see another 200 mile an hour run here at Ruapuna. That's amazing stuff from Chris Johnson for this early in the season. Have a look at it on the replay. The funny car just gets up and goes.
Yes, I think Chris might have been a little bit concerned with the light. The top light had gone out, the pre-stage light, so he knew he had the horsepower to drive around him. And we can see it from that shot there. CJ leaves second, but making a lot more horsepower and the experience coming through. He's a clever engine tuner and not a bad driver to boot.
6.647 seconds for Chris Johnson. He wins it at 202.70 miles an hour. Brendan Sibe is second.
Knew I was up against it, so I took a gamble and I got a bit out of it there, but in the end he just had the horsepower to drive around. So
car's all in one piece, no oil leaks, no water leaks, no nothing. It's just behaving itself tremendously.
Drag racing, just like the Olympic Games 100 metres final, is a contest of acceleration. For the athletes, it's spiked shoes and starting blocks. But for the drag racers, when you're running something like 3,000 or 4,000 horsepower, it's something we call traction compound. If you have a look at the track surface here at Powerbuilt International Tools Raceway, it is very sticky indeed. In fact, if I leave my hand there for any length of time, it will stick there. Now that's good for the drag racers because it means their tyres are going to get traction all the way off the start line. The launch is oh so important here in drag racing. At Powerbuilt Tools International Raceway, the track compound doesn't go the full length of the quarter mile. The reason for that is this is a multi-use facility. There's car racing here as well as drag racing. But drag racing is what we're here for. It's the Southern Nationals, and it's brought to you by Powerbuilt Tools. So into the top street competition now, and this is Kelly Rennie from Auckland. Runs in the 10 to 9 second bracket in his small block powered Jaguar. And that's a pretty good run first up for the Jag. First of our pairings at top street is Brad Rosewarne in the ex-Trevor Tolhurst Corvette. And I think, yes, it is Roger Binnemer. And Manuel, this is just a beautiful car.
It's a well-prepared car. This originally built by Chris Duncan in Christchurch. Roger Binnemer's got a good car, got a good engine out of his T-bucket and performing well. Won the meeting last year. He will be a hot contender in top street.
Well, I should say that the ex-Trevor Tolhurst car is still owned by Trevor Tolhurst. It's not Trevor running it though, although the whole Tolhurst family involved here at Ruapuna.
Yeah, there's a few of them. 5 cars in total Trevor's associated with this meeting. This is his Corvette, Bradley Rosewarne. Lucky enough to be having the ride.
So just watch the progress of Binnemer in lane number 1. Just drives right around the Corvette. Here it is on the replay.
And there is a handicap start because of class indexes. But Roger Binnemer, that's why he's defending Point Series champion.
885 for Binema. Now this is a story in itself, isn't it? Because this is Team Squig, but of course they're not in their usual XP Falcon. He's borrowed the car. And of course this car, one of the best looking cars at Ruapuna, this is Tony Bennis in the big block Camaro.
Tony Bennis across from the capital. And Team Squig, the car is owned by Laurie Ehrlich from Auckland. So just see how good a driver Squig is. Totally new combination for him. He was doing some practice runs earlier before this meeting, seemed to be handling it all right.
And I believe the big block, it's a problems there for Team Squig. I was going to say that car runs nitrous but hasn't got to the end of the strip, so problems. So Tony Bennis will go through virtually unchallenged, so we'll see him in the final. Here it is on the replay.
Well, you can see Squig lifts the front wheels and then bang, transmission, I would say, the smoke out the back. Good driving skill, moves off to the side of his lane. 9:03
there for Bennis. Roger Binneman now. And this car just goes like clockwork. He just runs up to the start and off he goes. Kelly Rennie, well, this lives up to its name. It's a bit of a wild bunch of this thing.
It certainly is, and Kelly will be enjoying the experience down here at Ruapuna. First time they've travelled down to the south.
Semi-final of Top Street, and it's Binneman that gets away first, but look at Rennie. He had a wild launch and he drives around the car of Roger Binneman and he gets the win, so he will progress through. We'll see him in the final. Now that's a turn up in itself, Manuel. Have a look at this. Look at the start.
Leaving very, very hard. You'll be a bit concerned as 60-foot times are probably a bit lower than they should be, but that's because the front wheels are still in the air.
8:57 at 1:64 for the Jaguar. And this is the final. Now, this is a match of the Titans. Is it going to be the big block Camaro, or is it going to be Kelly Rennie in the Jag? That is a beautiful car, and it makes oodles of horsepower.
Yeah, it's a well set up super stock car for Tony Bennis. He's got plenty of experience. He's driven Altereds before he's gone into the Dord car. Kelly Rennie, much the junior, and napping on the line. The old master's shown him how it's done.
And it's going to be Bennis pretty much unchallenged. It's going to be a good time too. 8.9 at 152, so that's a good time for Tony Bennis. So it showed that there was plenty more in the car. Here it is on the replay, and you heard Manuel say the Jag just caught sleeping on the line, and it is all over.
You won't catch Tony Bennis from there, and he'll be happy with an 890 so early in the season.
So final result sees Tony Bennis in the big block Camaro. 898 takes the win. As we go back to competition now, and this is a story in itself, Manuel. This is young Scott Tolhurst, now just 16 or 17 years of age. When we covered this meeting last year, Scott was in a junior dragster.
To race the juniors, I'm the record holder and the Pro-Am champ for the juniors, and I've been offered this car to drive for this year.
Tell us a little bit about the car. What sort of horsepower compared to your junior dragster?
My junior had about 46 horsepower. This has got about 600. It's Chev 406, just injected. Turbo 350 trans.
So this is the modified final. Scott Tolhurst there on the closest to the camera as we look at it. Steve Rhodes in the Fiat Topolino.
Again, a handicap start. The modified division, they run on dial your own format of racing where the racer nominates the time they expect the car to do, evened out the finish line.
Pretty close race as it turned out, but 2 seconds in at 8.9 to a 10.9. Here it is on the replay. Graphic example of the handicap that Manuel mentioned. Pretty close at the finish, but Scott Tolhurst it is that takes the win. 8.92 at 140.19 miles an hour. Steve Milne is the next one up in the Super Gas final, and he'll come up against Russell Lorimer. And this Mustang, Manuel, is a giant killer.
It certainly is. It's defending Point Series champion. But Steve and Leanne Milne took that Topolino through to runner-up in the Point Series last year, so this is a classic final.
So the Mustang versus the Fiat. The Fiat gets away first. Remember, none of these cars are allowed to go faster than 990, so we should see them run right on the button there. It's the Fiat in the front for the moment. Oh, maybe some problems, and Lorimer comes through and gets it on the line, and the time 10.32, so they're safe there to a 10.5. Well, there must have been problems for the Fiat because it slowed on the line, and that means Lorimer gets the win and gets his championship campaign off to the perfect start. Super Street action for you now. Matt Dunn in the 81 DX Toyota up against Steve Butter in the Chrysler Charger. Now this is the semi-final, and it looks like a giant killing performance coming from the Toyota. Now I can tell you that Matt Dunn went on and took the final as well with a 12.58 at 111 miles an hour, and he wins the semi-final there from the Chrysler Charger of Steve Butter. But look how close it was. A new innovation in our drag racing coverage this season is the New Zealand Petrolhead magazine Track Fact. Now, we had a question from young Tom up in the audience, and he wants to know, are the wings on the top alcohol cars there for show, or do they perform some sort of a function? Well, a man that knows all about top alcohol cars, and he's got the fastest car here today, is Ray Pedersen. Ray, what is the story?
The wings are serving a purpose. The rear wing, of course, is to put downforce on the rear wheels, mainly in the second half of the track, and when the car is going over 150 odd mile an hour. This particular wing here is a new one we've put on for the season, and it's on 4 degrees tilted downwards, and it's around about 1,000 pound at 200 mile an hour. So the whole car only weighs 1,000 kg, so it's almost half the weight of the car has been added to the back wheels.
Okay, we covered the rear wing. What about the winglets on the front?
Also very important. You want to retain your steering, obviously, at also that speed. It certainly keeps the car down, so you can control it and steer it.
Well, there you are, Tom. There's the answer. I hope that helps you out, and it must have worked for Ray Pedersen because, as I said, those guys are the fastest here. You're watching the 2004 Southern Nationals from Powerbuilt Tools Raceway, Ruapuna, and we're into the door slammers. Lane number 1, it is Steve Bernasconi in the quartermaster, and alongside of him, the Black Pearl, that is Steve Beatty from Christchurch in his 55 Chevy. About the build-up, I know that you've called in a few favours and cobbed bits and pieces off all sorts of other people's cars.
Yeah, well, kind enoughly, Chris Tynan sold me some of his older parts. He actually built the motor for us.
What are you expecting today?
Well, we'd like to do a 7. We've run a best of 8.1 at 172 miles an hour with the clutch set up soft. We've still got the motor pretty fat. That means basically too much fuel and a bit less horsepower, but we can up both, but we want to do them one step at a time and don't want to do anything silly.
Steve Bernasconi in the quartermaster, what a famous name in drag racing. That is his first time in the South Island.
Happy with a better than the national record, put it that way. We're looking to go faster, yeah, definitely.
That'd be pretty much something, wouldn't it? That'd turn a few heads. I mean, first meeting of the season.
Yeah, well, we try to impress.
Quartermaster 2, there is the Thunderbird there. Of course, the history of this car, Quartermaster 1, Alan Lim campaigned the Escort-bodied racer a few years ago now.
So we should see some good racing here. Steve Beatty has predicted that the car will run in the 7. Steve Bernasconi said they want to set a track record. Well, he's got the win. I don't think it was a track record, but it's an easy win. Here it is on the replay. And watch the front wheels on the Thunderbird. Hardly on the ground through the shifting. So a great win there for Bernasconi. Chris Tynan, the next car on your screen. This is the 55 Chevy, the Gulf Western oil car. And last year he was driving a rotary, can you believe it? What have you done to the car in the off-season?
We built a new manifold. We had a few problems with the old one. It had a lot of abuse and backfires and things on it, so it's splitting down seams, so we re-welded it up, put a data logger on it, freshened the motor up, so we're pretty confident that we're going to get it going this season.
Second round of qualifying for the door slammers, and the car on your screen is the car of Tom Richardson, the 57 Chevy.
This is probably the smallest in the group. It's a stock bore 454. And 1071 on it.
And Tom will be coming up against the man for so many years was the class act in this class, and that is Chris Tynan. But over the last few seasons they've had a lot of fueling problems with the car, Manuel, but he hopes he's on top of that now.
Whole new combination, new supercharger, new head, so it's all flowing different. The old tune-ups will go out the window.
Here it is on the replay, and you see for yourself that Tynan in the Gulf Western oiled car just gets away from Tom Richardson. Great story about Tom Richardson. Had 18 months off to build his house and got back into the drag racing. Here's a man that's been in drag racing, Flint's the get-go. This is David Green from Wellington, and we've already seen some problems for David earlier on when he spun the car around. They were just running way too much horsepower. Single run for David. Right, just for the viewers, tell us a little bit about the car, the Corvette. What sort of horsepower are you making?
Probably around 2,500, 515 cubic inches, supercharged on alcohol. And that 4-speed Lenco transmission, 9-inch Ford rear end.
Improvements that you've made has done anything to the handling of the car more than the horsepower? Or?
Yeah, we haven't touched the engine at all. We've left it exactly how it was. We know what we've got. We know how quick it should run with the power that it's making.
Mark Thomas from Wellington now, another one that sneaked into the 200 mile an hour bracket in last season at the Champion Dragway. What can he do down here at the Southern Nationals? He's up against Steve Bernasconi. Mark, what have you been doing with the car in the off season?
Oh, just a little bit of tinkering. We've freshened the motor as we always do in the off season, just gone through everything, checked everything.
mean, it's been a reliable combination. We've been running at the front of the field, so, and then just a few subtle changes to the fuel injection.
You cracked the 200 mile an hour barrier last year. That must have been pretty pleasing for you.
Oh yeah, it's been a milestone. We've been after it for a long time, and we did it pretty comprehensively, running 204, well, nearly 204. So no, it's just more of the same for this season, hopefully.
Well, these guys are in a bit of trouble. You see the crewmen down on the ground there. They're looking for the elusive oil leak that's really plagued them all afternoon. Up against Steve Bernasconi here, and Manuel, it's the last roll of the dice for Mark Thomas.
This is eliminations time now. They're the bottom qualifier because they didn't post a qualifying time. They come up against the number 1 qualifier. That is the hardest job to do in round 1. If they want to go all the way, they've got to take the win here. They're chasing Bernasconi though.
Problems too for Bernasconi, and all the luck has fallen for Mark Thomas, and he will get the win, and that keeps him alive. Have a look at it on the replay. Problems early on from the launch for Bernasconi. Picks the front wheels up and doesn't really recover, but 7:54 is good enough for Mark Thomas. Second round of eliminations now, and this is one of the prettiest cars down here, Manuel. This is the 57 Chevy of Tom Richardson.
Tom Richardson will be looking also to pick up a win. If he can take a win here, he'll go into the semi-final round.
Steve Beatty leaves early on him, and well, Richardson drives around him. Great win for the 57 Chevy of Tom Richardson. Been out of the sport for 18 months to build his house, back into it. Have a look at it on the replay. Just gets the whole shot and says, see you later, Steve Beatty.
It's all about consistency. Don't go over the top. Just run strong and hard, and that'll take a win.
Well, this guy's been running strong and hard all afternoon. This is David Green, and he comes up against the old master, Chris Tynan.
Well, the old foe, on many occasions these two have met in a number of finals over the years. David Green, making horsepower, finally got it sorted out by the end of qualifying. He's looking good for a good meeting today.
Chris Tynan been struggling with a overfueling problem. Semi-final action, so one of these guys is going on the trailer, the other one will go through to the final, and you've got to say on past performance, Manuel, it should be the Corvette.
Yes, certainly, the performance of this morning's session, he is making horsepower. He's a good driver.
Oh, they're dead even off the line, but the Corvette just uses all the horsepower, and Chris Tynan's in some bother. I don't think it's even running on 8 cylinders, and David Green will progress through to the final in the top door slammers.
David Green, as you can see, making horsepower off the line. Chris Tynan, raw fuel coming out of that left-hand bank. So he's still got problems in the fuel system, but it's a handful. But David Green, no problems at all.
770 and change for Green up against an 860 for Chris Tynan. He won't be happy with that. Into the final now, and these guys are on borrowed time. They haven't managed to fix the oil leak, but what we've done is we've rescheduled the final, so it's the last race on the racetrack. If there is an oil down, it doesn't matter so much. It's not going to hold up the race program. So David Green sits in the catbird seat here, I would say, Manuel.
That's good sportsmanship from all races concerned, because they want to put a show on for the crowd, support the sponsors, and what better way to do it? Finish with the top door slam. It's not a bad race to finish the day on, though, is it?
6,000 horsepower on the line. You'll see as they creep up into the staging area, put out the first light, put out the second light, and they are set to go. All eyes on the Christmas tree. Will it be the Holden Ute, the fastest Holden in New Zealand, or will it be David Green's Chevy Corvette in lane number 1? Away together, and they're side by side at half track. Thomas coming with a rattle here, but I think Green might have it. Oh, it's the closest race we've seen all afternoon, and I think they'll give it to David Green. That's what the officials think as well. 7:23 beats a 7:26 on a slight hole shot.
It was the first half of the race won it for David Green, because you look at the mile an hour and he gets off the throttle through the trap, but he had enough of a nose in front.
Here it is on our third replay. You can see for yourself it is oh so close. The Corvette just gets the nose in front at 3/4 track, and look at the margin of difference. 3/100ths of a second. Fantastic racing at Ruapuna. So David Green takes the top door slammer final from Mark Thomas.
That's why I go drag racing. 2 cars, 300 kilometres an hour, right beside each other. I could see his wheel out the window. And I think margin of victory was 0.006 of a second, so can't get much closer.
We got there by 6,000ths of a second. So it was a good drag race, and that's what it's all about.
So some fantastic performances at Ruapuna Raceway here, the Powerbuilt Tools Raceway for the Southern Nationals. 2 200 mile an hour passes for Chris Johnson in the Harcourt's hauler, and a fantastic side-by-side drag race in the door slammer final. Been fantastic. Look forward to round number 2.
Next up, it's back to the sand, the surf, the bikinis and the action from the 2009 Thundercats in the big waves at Piha.
Round 5 of the Summer Thunder 09 headed back to the Coromandel Peninsula where it all started, and that was Waihi Beach. And for the first time in the series, the surf was running hot, and that meant plenty of spectacular action. Well, they say rubbin's racing, and there was plenty rubbin and there was plenty of crashing at round 5, but with one round to go, the points look like this. Nova Technologies have overtaken Crashpad and sit in 5th place. In 4th place, it is Tony Bacaltrin and Aaron Fifield in Goodyear, whilst in 3rd, it is Waikato Sandblasting. But they had their moments in the big seas of Waihi. 2nd place is the most experienced combination on the water, and that is Jungle Coffee. And in 1st place, it is Rough Rider, Cole Arnott and Dave Sievers. They've led from round number 1 at Whangamata. Who's to say they won't lead as we head to Piha?
So out here at Piha in the middle of a cyclone, or am I just imagining things?
Guy, you're not imagining things. You know, this is the holy grail of Thundercat racing anyway. West Coast surf, black sands, you don't get better than this. And this is the final day, so, you know, some boats that have been doing well, who knows? Anything can happen out there, so this is the day that's really going to decide it for all these boats that have been racing hard in all sorts of different conditions all year long.
Well, if we have a look at the points as we head into the final round, you can see that Rough Rider has just stolen a march on the rest of the field, and really they only have to be consistent today to wrap up the title. Terrible conditions here at Piha, big seas, big winds, plenty of rain lashing the black sands here. As we have a look at the course, it's the typical Thundercat course, but it's going to be made so much harder with the heavy conditions we've got at Piha. It's fitting that the final of Bit Defender Summer Thunder 09 is here on this iconic West Coast beach. Heat 1, the green flag drops, and remember, a start is so important. You're riding, taking the helmet cam here from Glenn Bernand and Greg Norman and Jungle Coffee. They currently sit 2nd in the points, so they really need to do something special today, and maybe they've got the conditions for this experienced combination to do just that. Heading out to sea for the first of 5 laps, heat number 1 of 12, the final round of the Bit Defender Summer Thunder for 09, and anything but summer conditions here at Piha. It is Kerry Wood just going into the front there in his boat, Bit Defender. You're on board here with Jungle Coffee, taking the shots from Glenn Bernand's helmet cam. You can see just how hard the co-pilot works, working from the back to the front of the boat. This is the only time he gets a bit of respite as they go out past the waves and now head back towards the beach, and Nova Technologies in there as well. But it is Jungle Coffee out in the front. And look at the heavy surf we've got. There is Crashpad. Well, they had problems in the heavy conditions at Waihi as well, so maybe it's going to be a repeat for them here, and they really need to work hard to get up and see if they can finish in the top 5 in the points. Crashpad sitting in there, Darren Jessup and Perrin Riley, pretty experienced combination, putting the acid on Bit Defender, in fact diving down the inside of them as they head out to sea once again. So that means Crashpad now moves into 2nd place, Bit Defender goes back into 3rd, but these guys have got it all done. Greg Norman sprints up the beach, takes maximum 100 points and wins heat number 1 here at Piha. In 2nd place it is Crashpad, and in 3rd place it will be Monsoon.
Had a bit of a shocking start. We were on the bottom there for just at the start here, and then had Bit Defender on the outside of us, but I see he had didn't have a lot of power, so we overtook him and stayed in the front, just kept extending our lead. It was great.
Heat 2 was the first chance we got to see the points leaders out there, and they didn't disappoint. They won from Nova Technologies and Quicken. Smuggler Marine came through in 4th, and in 5th it was Salter Cartage. On to Heat 3, and you can see the conditions haven't got any better here at Piha as we look out towards Lion Rock. Waikato Sandblasting, Greg Powell is carrying our helmet cam. There is Sarah Burrell at the front of the boat. She is the UK champion in Thundercat racing, but now riding with Greg Powell. So Anglo-Kiwi combinations work well for them. They're in the hunt for the points. They're currently sitting in 3rd place, but they're in the front of this race. Waikato Sandblasting, Greg Powell. Looks like Goodyear, Tony Bacaltrin, Aaron Fifield go through in 2nd place. And then I think it would be the Steves. But there's a problem here, and I'm sure we will see the red flag. Yes, we do. No hesitation from the officials. So on the restart, remember it's the line straight adjacent to the shoreline. It is Waikato Sandblasting. Now, can Goodyear capitalise? because they are currently sitting in third in the points, and they do capitalise. They turn tighter on the boy as they head out to sea. Now, have they got in front of Waikato Sandblasting? We're riding here with Sandblasting. Greg Powell giving us these amazing pictures from his helmet cam. Round the mark they go. Didn't see Goodyear, so you'd have to assume that Waikato Sandblasting is still in the front as they head across the Piha foreshore here. There is Goodyear. Once again, you've got to get the timing just absolutely dead right on the wave, and Waikato Sandblasting are in all sorts of bother, and Goodyear capitalise. So Vercauteren and Aaron Fifield go through into the front. Waikato Sandblasting back into second place. You can see what sort of a rough ride these pilot and co-pilot get. You can understand why they're black and blue after these heavy conditions. It was the same at Waihi. It certainly caught out a few. It hasn't caught out Tony Vercauteren and Aaron Fifield, though. They will hit the beach first. You're on board as Sarah Burrell prepares to dismount and run up into the crash pad finish pylons, but it'll only be for second place. So Goodyear get the maximum 100 points. Waikato Sandblasting is second, and it's the Steves in Plumquick through in third.
We're probably a little bit heavier than the other crews, so more wind, but a bit more choppy. We can handle that a little bit better. So we're pretty stoked.
Heat number 4 now, you join it in progress, and there's a good battle going on here for the miners. CMC Market's in it, so too Nova Technologies, and also Black Pepper. Black Pepper, that's a new combination this season. Doing a pretty good job there, but it is Rough Rider out in the front. Oh, we've seen it so many times, and here they are again. And Dave Sievers strolls into the beach, and they pick up another 100 points. They are the points leaders, and are they the champion-elect here at the final round of Summer Thunder 09?
Pretty tricky conditions out there with the offshore wind. There's a bit of swell there, it's in between, like it flattens off sometimes and then it's waves the next, so it's quite hard to choose a good prop, but yeah, everyone's in the same boat, it's good fun.
Well, graphic example from our high shot of the conditions we've got here at Piha as we move into heat number 5. So imperative to get a good start, dead engine start, remember, and a Le Mans start as well. And Robert Page Engineering just stalling over that first big wave. They had a good start going, but it's not going to turn out that way. Up at the front, Waikato Sandblasting once again out in the front. Look at Sarah Burrell getting as aerodynamic as possible as they head out through the whitewater and out to sea once again. Crash pad through in second place. Here in Riley, the co-pilot, Darren Jessup, the pilot, and there's nothing in it as they head out to sea once again. Once they clear this last roller, it should be pretty much plain sailing for crash pad. They've got the bow in front. Around the mark they go. Now, can the lighter combination of Waikato Sandblasting do anything about it? No, they can't, and Crash Pad comes through for another win here at Piha. So Crash Pad get the valuable 100 points. That may change their position in the overall championship. Waikato Sandblasting are second.
We're pretty lucky. We had some good turns on some of those boys, and which gave us some advantage. And we got our balance worked out, and I think that helps. We're a bit heavier than them.
Well, in this edition of Thunder Time, we will show you all about restarts. We've told you how to get around the boys, how to crash, how not to crash, and now Tony Vercauteren is going to talk to you about restarts. Pretty important. We've seen quite a few of these over the season.
Yeah, certainly. In these sort of conditions, you're getting a lot of restarts. So anytime there's a red flag, what that means is the boats obviously need to restart the race. If it happens in the first lap, the racers go back to the beach and they start as they normally do. Any other time in the race, they start just like you see here, Phil, Indian file in the order they were. So this is more of an advantage to any of the other boats other than that first boat.
And this is similar to motor racing. They've got to hold a nominated speed.
Absolutely, until they get to that last buoy there, then it's full on. But like I say, if you're the first boat, you're never happy because it drags the field back to yourself.
All right, you'll probably see some more restarts in the heavy conditions we've got here at Piha. We are halfway through the heat racing. This is heat number 6. And Chris Brown and Michelle Hoffman would hate to see a restart here because they have stolen a march on the rest of the field. In fact, this is a pretty good performance coming from Demon. Here is Goodyear, and that is, oh, and there's problems there, and that is Smuggler Marine that goes over. Well, we will see a restart. And you see the hand come up from Bit Defender just to warn the officials on the beach. So here is what Tony Vercauteren was talking about in Thunder Time. Here is the restart. Once again, Dribbler, should I say Demon Energy will lead them out. with their characteristic upside-down visors on their helmets. And another red flag and a technical finish here because Hell's Pizza, Dave Lowe and Dean Bowater have gone over. So Demon Energy get the 100 points. In second place it is Goodyear, and in third place it is the PBS Group. Fourth place are the sponsors, Bit Defender, and in fifth it's Jungle Coffee.
Yeah, I was extremely concerned when I saw the second red flag come out because obviously we had a pretty good lead at that point, but thankfully they called a technical finish, and so we walk away with the win.
Well, at the halfway stage in the heat racing, it is Rough Rider. The points lead is going into this, the sixth and final heat on top. Goodyear in second place, Crash Pad in third, Waikato Sandblasting fourth, and Jungle Coffee fifth.
I'm David Pringle and I'm the co-pilot for Smuggler Marine.
I'm Logan Pringle and I'm the driver of Smuggler Marine.
The Smuggler Marine team are the new boys on the scene this season. Logan Pringle, who got his first taste of the sport a few years ago whilst on holiday on the Coromandel, and his father Dave. This team epitomises the adage, a family that plays together stays together. After the first round, Logan's dad, David, stepped up to the plate as co-pilot and the sponsor of this brand new team.
So you've been practicing hard over the winter, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Been freezing our butts off out there, getting wet, but having a good time, so...
Hey, you got to put in the hard yards, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
The guys always knew that this season would be a learning curve, but the results have proved otherwise, as they currently sit mid-table in the championship title.
So Logan, what made you get into Thundercat racing?
Well, I first saw them on the Coromandel and just decided then and there that I wanted one, and after about 3 or 4 years looking around, we just went and decided that a brand new one was the way to go, so we just went and bought one.
So if you're looking for an outside bet, look for Dad and Dave. No, sorry, Logan and Dave, to pull a few surprises.
We're here to be competitive, but you know, obviously it's our first season. We're not trying to win or anything. I mean, well, we're trying to, but our aim is to basically get in top 10. That's sort of what I want to get out of it.
Top 10 might be a bit optimistic, but top 15 is easily doable. Heat number 7 here at Piha. It is the sixth and final round of the Bit Defender. Summer thunder for 09 and anything but summer conditions here, as these pictures show you. And it is Smuggler Marine that have got out to the best of the starts. Monsoon's just getting a fair bit of air over that big roller as they head out to the first mark as well. But it's Logan and Dave Pringle out on the front. Then it's Monsoon, then it's line 7. Nigel Tongs, haven't spoken too much about him. Been pretty quiet by their high standards so far. Oh, and just about having a big moment as they head round the 180-degree turn. Now on the last lap they'll head to the beach, but this time they'll head back into shore, and Smuggler Marine are going to lose their first place here, or are they? Well, they do the switcheroo, and boy, then they go off course, and that's played into the hands of line 7, or has it? They take a big hit off the big wave coming out to the sea for the second or third time, and they pay the price. Smuggler Marine staying inside. CSI not happy with Spaceship, so maybe a little bit of contact there. We'll keep an eye on that battle. Well, not even happier now because they go over. That brings out the red flag. So once again we see the race stopped, and in the shallows that could have been nasty for CSI. Craig Sutherland and Anthony Park. So the race is stopped. Here it is on the replay. They just go right over the buoy. So if they hadn't crashed, they would have been disqualified anyway for riding over the buoy. But that was a big impact. And as I said, in the shallows, that could have been nasty. Restart now. And are we going to see history in the making here? Are we going to see Smuggler Marine get their first win of the season? Because they're in the front at the moment. Logan and Dave Pringle. Dad and Dave to their friends. They head down onto the beach now, and it's Dad's job to jump out of the boat and run through the crash pad pylons, and he can afford to jog it, although he puts on a show and sprints across the line. So Smuggler Marine get their first 100-point haul. In second place it is line 7, and in third it is Demon Energy.
Well, we flipped the race before, so we totally mucked up, and maybe it needed a good wash. That was awesome. Like, I finished Waihi with 2 weeks of physio, and that's what we got out of it, so that's awesome. We're stoked. That's a first in the nationals for us, so it's really awesome.
So in heat number 8, it was Waikato Sandblasting picking up another valuable 100 points from the series points champions, Rough Rider, Jungle Coffee in third. So all the big boys were out to play in heat number 8. This is heat number 9, and we've joined it just on the first lap. And going for the big air there was Stingray Marine, but playing a little bit closer to the chest was Crash Pad, and they've got the front. Darren Jessup and Perrin Riley. Well, the boat's virtually disappearing in the rollers as they head back to shore. There is Tony Vercountrin and Aaron Fifield. They're chasing Quicken as they work their way along the shoreline once again. And they've got to be so careful to approach these waves perpendicular. And Quicken has a big moment, but so too does Vercountrin. And I think Vercountrin got the buoy. Yeah, they did. No doubt about it. Aaron Fifield, in fact, I think they're tangled in the anchor chain of the buoy, and that is going to cost them valuable points. That's going to cost them the whole race, I would think. So drama here for Goodyear. No drama for these guys though, and it remains now for Perrin Riley to sprint up the sand and get another win for Team Crash Pad. That's how it happened in heat number 9. Second place was Quicken. They recovered. Goodyear couldn't, so they're off the charts. Black Pepper coming through in third.
That was quite a hard heat, but we had a mate of ours, Tony, in that, and he usually gives us a good run for our money, but well, nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen today. So we're chasing each other, that's for sure.
Greg Norman, I'm co-pilot for Jungle Coffee.
Glenn, piloted Jungle Coffee.
Glenn Bernand and Greg Norman are one of the most experienced combinations currently racing the Bit Defender Summer Thunder for 09. The fact that this combination has been around for so long helps in so many ways. The interaction between pilot and co-pilot comes as second nature, and in the past this combination has been a steady threat. A new season, a new era, a new engine and a new boat, and a new attitude has meant not only are these guys a steady threat, but they are quick. Whatever changes the team has made have worked, and Jungle Coffee have gone from consistent and sound to spectacular and fast. Another one of the heavier combinations, they prefer the heavy conditions, but when we caught up with them at Waipu, it was anything but heavy.
We haven't really got the conditions we were wanting, so hey, we just got to make the most of it.
I think the funny thing's up there in the top, we're sort of all wanting a bit of surf, aren't we, just to mix it up?
Yeah, we are. It's going to make it, you know, a little bit more tighter with a bit more surf. But hey, we've got Piha coming up shortly, so that'll be good for the competitiveness, you know.
The attitude change and the changes to the boat and engine must have worked. Jungle Coffee currently sits second in the points. Well, here is a chance to have a look at the style of Jungle Coffee, because they're going up against the points leaders, and that is Cole Arnott and Dave Sievers and Rough Rider, but it is Bernand and Norman that have taken the front. Well, you heard the revs come up then as they all got plenty of air over the big waves. Arnott's coming back at them though, but Jungle Coffee is going to see the sand first. Greg Norman sprints through for the win. In second place it will be Rough Rider, and in third place Waikato Sandblasting. Fourth is Quicken, and in fifth Demon Energy.
Yeah, I could smell them. Even though we were in front of them, I could still smell them. Their scent was on us, and yeah, a bit of nice driving by Glenn there, blocking them off on the finish there, but oh, awesome. It was a tough race. Good to lead from start to finish, and just awesome.
Heat number 11 now, and we're getting down to the business end. You're riding here with Goodyear. This is Aaron Fifield and Tony Vercountrin. Helmet cam on the head of Aaron Fifield, the co-pilot. And this is a good close race. And look at this, 3 abreast as they head back into shore. On the outside it is Goodyear. Inside of them, Rob Page Engineering, just getting slowed a little on the wave. Line 7 in there as well. They've come into contention, but there is absolutely nothing in this. Tony Vercountrin in the front. Oh, are we going to see a red flag? I think we might. We've got the co-pilot out, so that means the flag will come out. Have a look at it on the replay. Rob Page Engineering somehow survived that, but unfortunately CMC Markets can't, and Gary Waller and Rebecca Gray bring out the red flag here, and there is the reason. That's why Rebecca came out of the boat. Spectacular action here at Piha. Gary's got the arm out. This is the restart, and line 7 in control, and that's a graphic example of what we're talking about in one of our Thunder times. That is the rolling restart as we go back on board here with Aaron Pfeiffer. Look, he's right up on the bow now. The reason for that is he's just about to crest one of these big waves, and these big waves have certainly taken their toll on the competitors here today. The 6th and final round of the Summer Thunder for 09. Line 7 dives up the inside of Goodyear, so that puts them up into second place. Just ahead of them are the race leaders, and this is Nova Technologies, Ribbs Norton and Sam Mills. They go across the line first. It was desperately close for second, but Line 7 have to settle for it, and in third place it was Goodyear, Vercauteren and Fifield.
Yeah, no, it was good. Like last year we were on rookie rampage, but this year we're just a bit mature and we're going all right. So we'll see how we go.
In our final Thunder Time segment, we're going to do a bit of a recap on where we've been for Summer Thunder 09, brought to you by Bitdefender. It all kicked off on the Coromandel Peninsula at Whangamata. Big crowds, beautiful sunny day, and some fantastic racing. From there, we went to what is paradise in the New Zealand summer, and that is Mount Maunganui. The crowds had to be seen to be believed. The conditions weren't that good, and of course we had the dreaded weed. Wellington lived up to its nickname as Windy Wellington. Lyle Bay was the venue, and the wind played havoc with spectators and boats alike. Waipu Cove was the next stop, the Highland Game capital of New Zealand in the winterless north. Once again, perfect summer conditions for Summer Thunder. Beautiful summer conditions in the winterless north, as we've come to expect. The penultimate round sent us back to the Coromandel and to the coal mining town of Waihi. The surf got up and it caught a few out. So we head back to the final round, the 6th and final round of Summer Thunder 09, and it is to the west coast iconic beach of Piha. And you can see conditions not fantastic. This is how they'll line up in the final though. After 12 exciting heats, it's Rough Rider on top, so they get first grid position. Waikato Sandblasting in second. Further down through the line, this is where it gets a little bit confusing because the championship is yet to be decided in the positions 10 through 6. Will it be decided here at Piha? We'll wait for the final, and here it is. And the conditions, well, you'd love to say they've got better, but they haven't. But that's a fantastic start for Nova Technology. Ribbs Norton doing the job, Line 7 going with them. Now, where is Rough Rider? They don't have to win this to win the championship. They were the points leaders going in. So maybe that's the mindset they're thinking about. No taking it away, though, from Novatech. Well, now they've missed the buoy. They've done a complete 360 turn, and that has cost them any chance of a win, but it stopped them being disqualified as well. So it was the right thing to do for Ribbs Norton and Sam Mills. So Line 7 in the front now. There are the champions-elect, if you like. Cole Arnott and Dave Sievers in Rough Rider, sitting in second place. Line 7 in the front. Oh, they won't be in the front much longer if they carry on like that. And look at this. Rough Rider picks their pocket, dives down the inside of them of the buoy, and will they stay in the front? It's so close. But once again, Line 7 makes an elementary mistake, and that's cost them any hope of a victory. And Rough Rider's stopped. Well, can you believe it? The points leaders. It's not going to alter their championship. They've got enough points to win the title, but they're certainly not going to win the battle. The battle now shifts to Line 7 and Waikato Sandblast. Greg Powell and Sarah Burrell sitting in second place now, and are they chasing Line 7 down here? On Line 7, very cautious over that last wave. Waikato Sandblasting getting a little bit closer. Last lap of the final race of the series here, Bitdefender. Line 7 in the front. Waikato Sandblasting in second place. Line 7 look for the cautious lead. Waikato Sandblasting decide to straight line. It's not going to make any difference, and it'll be Line 7 having the last say of the series. Second place will be Waikato Sandblasting, and in third place it will be Goodyear. Fourth is Jungle Coffee, and in fifth it is Nova Technologies.
Our first race wasn't so good, but then we sort of picked it up towards the end of the day, and first and the last race of the year is pretty good.
So if we have a look at the overall situation in the Bitdefender 09 Summer Thunder, it is Rough Rider on top. In second place it will be Jungle Coffee, and in third place Waikato Sandblasting. Fourth is Goodyear, and in fifth it is Nova Technologies. Sixth place goes to Crash Pad, and seventh it is Line 7. Eighth is Plum Quick. Ninth is the PBS Group, and in 10th it is CMC Markets.
Well, that concludes the Bitdefender Summer Thunder Thundercat Racing 2009. We've been to 6 different venues around the North Island of New Zealand, and we've experienced 6 different sets of conditions. Rough Rider really have dominated proceedings, and for the second year in a row, Rough Rider have taken out the New Zealand series of Thundercat Racing. See us next year, but in the meantime, check out thundercatracing.com to see as much action as you want to.
As the lady on the telly says. But wait, there's more. Now it's the 2013 Motocross Champs, and it's the MX2 class from Pukekohe.
The sun was shining and a big crowd had descended on Mr Motorcycles Raceway for round 3 of the Backflips New Zealand Senior Motocross Championships after indifferent times in Tonga. Looking to extend his good form, Rotorua's Rhys Carter.
So Rhys, is there anything in particular you do to prepare for this track in particular?
Yeah, the Pukekohe circuit's a lot harder than a lot of our other tracks. So yeah, we always try and ride like a more hard-packed track, just to get things, kind of get the feel of the soil and stuff, just so you can find more traction, bits and pieces like that. So yeah, there's a few little things, different tyres and suspension changes, but yeah, it's not too bad.
It's a bit unusual for you to be not in the standings already.
There's I run my leg over it the last round at Tonga there, and yeah, just had to stop riding for the day, which is annoying. It's an old injury I had years ago. I had a steel plate in it, and the screws just ripped the inside of the skin open, and couldn't move my foot the right way, so I pulled the pin.
Brock, why the decision to come to New Zealand and race here?
Well, just the support really. Like I get a lot more support here, and yeah, it makes it a lot easier on me. You know, like I got a mechanic and a team behind me, so I don't have that back at home, and yeah, it makes my job a bit easier.
So race 1 set to start on the Monster Energy start line. Watch out for bike number 2. That is Scott Collum from Queenstown. He is the points leader, but the Australian Brock Winston snapping at his heels. Race 1 here at Harrisville, and what a lot of work the Pukekohe Motorcycle Club have done on this amazing circuit. Looks like a good start there from Ethan Martins. Peter Broxholm up the inside of him, and it's the Honda rider that leads him out of turn 1. So he gets the whole shot as they head now behind the start area and they head back towards the Supercross area of this track. So Rhys Carter moves up into second place on the Motor City Suzuki, but it is Broxholm out in the front. The Honda New Zealand Castrol JT Racing Honda, bike number 4. Rhys Carter from Mount Maunganui in second, and on bike number 3, the Motor City Suzuki. Then it looked like Ethan Martins, and then it's the points leader in MX2, and that is Queenstown Scott Collum. Now, Collum is riding with a little bit of an injury cloud. He sustained an arm injury, so really, I guess this weekend, being at the 3rd round of the Backflips Championship, with the final to come in Taupo in a couple of weeks' time, for Collum anyway, will be a face-saving exercise and just managing to pick up as many points as possible and get through. Bad risk for the Queenstown lad, currently sitting in 4th on the racetrack. Peter Broxholm, well, he's had success here at Harrisville before, and he needs it to increase his position in the National Championship chase. The man from Tauranga, Broxy rider coaching is his full-time job. Been a Honda rider for a long time now, wearing the new JT racing gear, coming up to complete the first part of the big lap here at Harrisville. Lots and lots of grooming done by the Pukekohe Motorcycle Club, lots and lots of improvements here, making this a true international Grand Prix calibre circuit. Down onto the back section now, down into one of the deep valleys. Broxholm goes through. There is Rhys Carter coming through in the Motor City Suzuki. Oh, and there's been a change. Maybe Peter Broxholm's had a bit of a problem because he's gone from 1st back to 3rd place. It's Ethan Martins out of Waitakere into 2nd place now in the Yamaha New Zealand YZF 250. And I think I just got a glimpse of the defending champion, and that was Daryl King. Remember, King riding the 2-stroke machine. Rhys Carter from the Bay of Plenty on the Moto City Suzuki. Well, there was one part missing in Rhys Carter's motocross tool bag, if you like, and it was good starts. Well, he's got good starts here at Harrisville as he disappears into the Supercross section again, and he is leading this race. Race number 1 of 3 for the MX2 National Championships, round 3. Backflips bring you the championship, and the action is all on the circuit here at Mr Motorcycles Raceway. There is Ethan Martins battling it handlebar to handlebar with Peter Broxholm, so I think Broxholm must have had a miscue, and he's fighting to get his 2nd place back. Well, those two are fighting. Rhys Carter is starting to pull away. Well, this guy has really hit his straps. Last year he had nothing but bad luck in the Backflips Championship. He couldn't buy a good start in the whole 4 rounds, but it's totally different this time round. There is Broxy, still back in second place. Scott Collum in there as well. There is Daryl King. Daryl King is the defending champion, remember, but he had problems at round 2 at Patatonga. He ran over his own leg. I don't think he even crashed off the motorcycle, but it was enough for him to not finish the day. That's why he's hurting in the points. Broxholm through, second place, then it's Martins, then it's Collum. Collum, remember, riding under the cloud of an injury. He's really on a points gathering exercise here today. He came in with a pretty substantial lead, I think 16 points ahead of the man in second place. No sign yet of the Australian, Brock Winston. Boy, he put the cat among the pigeons at Patatonga in round number 2. One of the other Australians in the field there, no sign of him just yet either, and that is Ryan Marmot on the Suzuki. If you watch some of the back markers coming through, that looks like it might have been Kieran Lee. Now this is Ethan Martins. Now he's got ahead of Daryl King here. And this is the master and the student, because a couple of seasons ago Ethan was pitting out of the same tent as Daryl King when in the Subway Yamaha days. And now the student is giving the master a bit of a lesson. This battle at the moment, 3rd and 4th up ahead of them. It is Peter Broxholm, just got a glimpse of the Honda as he disappears down the drop away at 3. All the jumps numbered here at Harrisville. Pukekohe Motorcycle Club own this piece of land and have done for a long, long time, and they've made constant improvements over the years. Daryl King will have very fond memories of Harrisville. He won his first senior motocross title here a long time ago now. At the moment battling for 3rd and 4th. This is the Australian visitor currently sitting 2nd in the MX2 Championship chase. This is Brock Winston, and you heard the difference in the engine note. He is riding a 2-stroke, as is Daryl King. The Australian visitor doing a pretty good job, certainly did a good job at Patatonga, moved into 2nd place behind Scott Collum. This man in 3rd, this is Rhys Carter, who finished 3rd last year in the MX2 Championship. That's why he races under bike number 3, the Motor City Suzuki New Zealand sponsored machine. You see the GoPro sitting on the top of the helmet of Rhys Carter. That rider's just getting out of his way as he heads down into the Supercross section here again in this 2.1 kilometre circuit that makes up the Mr. Motorcycles Raceway. Needleman and Ward Demolition coming to the party for the Backflips Championship, round number 3 here in Pukekohe. If anything, it looks like Ethan Martins might just be starting to close down Carter here, although he'll be getting messages from his team manager, Andrew Hardesty, no stranger to racing motocross, a past New Zealand motocross and road racing champion. So Andrew, a double threat. These days, though, he runs the Moto City Suzuki team. Cody Cooper in the MX1, and this man, Rhys Carter, in MX2 on the RM250Z. Making his way to the checkered flag to take race number 1 here at Harrisville. Rhys Carter from Mount Maunganui gets the win. In 2nd place, it will be Waitakere City's Ethan Martins, and in 3rd place, it will be the defending champion, the old man of the field, and that is Daryl King. In 4th place, Scott Collum.
How difficult was that?
It wasn't really that difficult. It was kind of easy. I got a good start, and the guy in front of me made a mistake, so I just quickly snuck on the inside of him and just, kind of led from there. Looked ahead and didn't kind of worry what was happening behind me, and tried to hit all my points good, and it was pretty good.
I'm used to the first motor being a little bit more muddy, and I normally win the first motor here. Very rarely do I get 3rd in the first race, and it was just one of those things. Ethan and Rhys Carter rode really well and couldn't get by them.
So race number 2 here for MX2. 3 races across the weekend. Knowledgeable crowd always here at motocross, and a big crowd in at Harrisville. Someone having real problems off the start line. Another good start by the look of it coming from Rhys Carter. Better start from the Australian this time. Watch out for Ryan Marmot from Australia. Suzuki brought him over as a bit of a hired gun. Scott Collum in there, remember, the championship points leader. Finished in the points in race number 1, looking for a better effort this time around. And it is Marmot in the lead now. Peter Broxholm's got another great start on the Bel-Ray Honda, sits in 2nd place. But it's the Australian out in the front. No stranger to New Zealand shores is Ryan Marmot. Last time we saw him here, he's on a KTM. This time he is on the Motul Suzuki and leading race number 2. Peter Broxholm, another brilliant start from him, sits in 2nd place. Good scrap going on for the miners. Ethan Martins is in it again on the Yamaha. And Scott Collum, well, he's just picking up the points. Broxholm looking for a way round the inside of the Australian, can't find it. As the dust starts to get up a bit in the Serpentine section here at Harrisville. And Broxholm takes the lead, so the Kiwi in the front now. Marmot back into second. Remember, Marmot hasn't got a dog in the fight with regards to the championship. This is the only round he's doing. This man certainly has, though. He'd love to improve his performance from Patatonga, which was indifferent to say the least. And he's doing it here. Bike number 4. Peter Broxholm, married man with a child these days. Been around the motocross scene for a long, long time. All the style in the world from Marmot as he works his way in and out of the Ward Demolition Gravity Cavity. This is on the back section of the circuit here at Harrisville. There's a little bit of everything in this circuit. This man currently sits in second place in race number 2 for MX2. He's chasing Mount Mauganui's Peter Broxholm. Australia's Ryan Marmot. Raced all around the world, raced for Australia in the Motocross of Nations, raced in the United States of America, and as I said, a frequent visitor to our shores here in New Zealand. Well, the Pukekohe Motorcycle Club crew, under the auspices of track manager Tony Cooksey, doing a good job preparing things. The dust starting to get up a little bit now as we work into the afternoon. And you're watching the Australian currently sitting in second place. There's been a change in third by the look of it. Looks like Rhys Carter might have moved his way up into third, so Suzuki's maybe running second and third. We'll confirm that for you. Honda out in the front though, and that is Peter Broxholm. Broxy to his friends. There is Brock Winston on the 2-stroke KTM. Daryl King in behind him, the veteran of the field, now 43, in fact maybe 44 years of age nowadays. Still just as fast as ever, and you just get the feeling that had he not had a bad result at Patatonga in round 2 of the Backflix Championship, he would be right up there, dicing for the championship title. He won it last year on a 2-stroke. He's on a 2-stroke Yamaha again, puts the heat on fellow 2-stroke runner, and that is Brock Winston from Australia. So King takes the position, and over jump number 8, it is Winston that tries to take it right back, can't do it, and the veteran stays up there and around about 4th or 5th at the moment. Winston right in behind him. The race leader, though, is number 4, Peter Broxholm from Mount Maunganui. There is Ryan Marmot. Lap rider just getting in the way a little bit here as well. And the thing to do when you're a lap rider is just to hold your line and let the fast guys go through, which sometimes is a little bit hard to do. Past the lap score as they go once again. Here is Rhys Carter. Well, he's having a banner day here at Harrisville, trying to chase down Daryl King now by the look of it. Back into the Supercross section they go. There is Carter, King just up ahead of him. Race leader continues to be Broxy, Marmot in second. Rhys Carter, of course, won race number 1, got a fantastic start and never looked back. Has to work a bit harder this time round. Just trying to check up on the progress of Scott Collum. He is the points leader in this one, but he is carrying a little bit of an injury. And with 1 round to go, this one a face-saving exercise for the popular man from Queenstown. Remember, he's never won an outdoor motocross national title. He's won the Supercross title on Suzuki's, but this year made the change to the Josh Coppins Racing Yamaha. Rhys Carter here getting a little bit closer to the veteran. Here is the race leader as we go back to the front of the field. Heading down round behind the start straight in one of the big long straights here at Harrisville. And down into the Supercross section once again. Well, Peter Broxholm, very much an accomplished motocross rider, but quite a freestyle motocrosser as well. So look for some antics if he gets a good, comfortable lead here for the popular man from the Mount on the Bel Ray Honda. You see that you've got to get your timing just absolutely dead right as they work their way through the rollers. Plenty of elevation from the CRF 250 Honda of Peter Broxholm, in complete control of this one. So good overall position coming here for Broxy. Good strong finish in round 1, a win coming up here if he keeps it on 2 wheels in 2. Just a couple of obstacles still to come for Mount Mauganui's Peter Broxholm riding the Honda New Zealand Castrol JT Racing Honda. Up to the checkered flag he comes, and he gets the win here under the sunshine at Harrisville. In second place it will be the Australian Ryan Marmot on the Suzuki. Once again, a good result for third place man, that's Ethan Martins, and in fourth it's the Australian Brock Winston. Fifth place is Daryl King, and in sixth it's the points leader.
I've been struggling a bit with starts, but hopefully I can pull one today, and I think it'll turn the day around a bit for me if I do.
So you're pretty disappointed with your first race of the day today?
Yeah, I'm disappointed with the first two motos. You know, they're the worst of the season for me. You know, so yeah, we'll just focus and try and get a finish strong for the day.
One more race to go in the MX2 class for the afternoon here at the Backflips New Zealand Motocross Championship, and Scott Collum doing all he can. An injured arm, so he has not been figuring in the top results, but he's there sitting alongside Reece Carter as they head to the first turn once again. Carter's got another good start, but it's the other Suzuki rider, Ryan Marmot, by the looks, that's going to lead them through. And Brock Winston's got a better start too, so the Australians starting to come to the fore earlier on. We'll pick them up as they come a little bit closer. Oh, I called it. No, I didn't. I called it absolutely dead right. It is Ryan Marmot and Brock Winston, Australia 1 and 2 in the early going as they hit the Supercross section here at Mr. Motorcycles Raceway. Third place looks to be Ethan Martins on the Yamaha. Another good start there coming from Peter Broxholm, back down in about 5th or 6th spot. No sign yet of Scott Collum. And you heard Collum say not happy with races 1 and 2. It really is Scott Collum with a new attitude this year. I saw that at the Woodville Grand Prix in the third and final MX2 race. He crashed in the first turn, not his own fault. Normally, he probably would have given it away. It was late in the afternoon, but Collum got back on his bike and came right through the field and gathered maximum points in that race that he could salvage. So that was the change in attitude. Maybe it's working with Josh Coppins on the Josh Coppins Racing Yamaha, and it's certainly working here at Harrisville because Collum up into third place now. Then we go back to DK, Daryl King, bike number 1. So at the moment it is the Australians 1 and 2. Ryan Marmot on the Suzuki, the KTM, the two-stroke KTM of Brock Winston. Then it's Collum. So Scott Collum having his best result here so far in the third and final race for MX2. The Aussies coming out of the middleman cavity once again onto the step up and then over the top of the drop-off. It is Winston now in control. Now have we lost Ryan Marmot here, because that is Scott Collum chasing Brock Winston. I think we might have lost the Suzuki rider. Well, you just got a glimpse of him in the back of the shot. So Ryan Marmot's had a problem over on the back section as the race leaders now work through the middleman turn. So it's Winston in the front on the KTM, the two-stroke KTM. Then it is Scott Collum. Collum's put the injury worries aside, and he wants a good result here in the third and final MX2 race. Plenty of air over the big jumps here in the Supercross section for Scotty Collum from Queenstown. Got a great team behind him in Josh Coppins, his brother Lockie, helping out with the logistics, but Josh Coppins has been the catalyst that's unlocked the talent that we always knew that Scott Collum had, and now here he is in second place. There is Ryan Marmot in third, so he's definitely made a mistake as they work their way back towards the lap scorers once again. Under the Ward Demolition finish banner they go. Winston in the front, Collum in second. Then it would be Marmot. Quickly reaching for a tear-off is Scotty Collum. Got the best job in the world, works for Outdoor Adventures in Queenstown in his family business. Spent a lot of time in Europe racing for an Italian Suzuki dealer and also for Rentless Suzuki in Great Britain. Plenty of international experience for Scott Collum. Plenty of international experience being gained here for Brock Winston as well at the moment. There is Ryan Marmot back in third place on the Suzuki. Now starting to fall into the clutches of the veteran Daryl King on the Fox DC Fusion YZ250, another two-stroke runner here in the MX2 class. Remember, let's clarify it, you can ride a two-stroke bike if you want to in MX2, but the majority of the field on the more modern four-stroke machinery. Like this man, Ryan Marmot on the Suzuki. Rides Suzuki in Australia for Jay Foreman and the Motul Suzuki team, the same team that Cody Cooper will ride for in MX1 in Australia this season. So Marmot, a little lonely third at the present time, out in front, Winston and Collum. Winston on the KTM, Colum on the Yamaha, Daryl King on the Yamaha in fourth. And here are the race leaders, and they couldn't get any closer as they come over the big jump on the Supercross section, and it goes horribly wrong for Scott Colum and for Brock Winston. Winston quickly to the KTM first. Scott Colum will do it as well. Look at this. They nearly touch in mid-air. And then Scott Colum, looking for self-preservation, just tried to ride into the side of Winston. I don't think anyone would be apportioned blame, but that's exactly what happened. Amazingly, both riders unhurt, and it's Brock Winston that gets to his bike first, and Colum can't pick his up. Oh, this is drama here in the MX2 class. Ryan Marmot goes into the front. Brock Winston back in second. Daryl King through in third. Where is Scott Colum? The points leader, 16-point advantage going in. We told you he had an arm injury. He was resting that, if you like, trying to pick up as many points as possible, trying to be in top shape for the fourth and final round in Taupo, and it's gone wrong in the third MX2 race. He was in second place. Now he is down and out, and the Australian has inherited the lead. Ryan Marmot, he had the lead in the early going. He lost it to his compatriot Brock Winston, and now good fortune has favoured the Australian, and he is back in front on the Suzuki. Winston through in second place. Then it is Daryl King. Where is Scott Colum? Has he seen his championship hopes go up in a cloud of dust here at Harrisville? He has had nothing but bad luck in the outdoors, time and time again, in MX2 and in MX1. He's been the bridesmaid, he's never been the bride. This was going to be his year. Has he thrown it all away here at Harrisville? Marmot wins the race. Daryl King, I think, would cross the line in second place. We'll check on that for you. And then it would be the quickly recovering Brock Winston. But where is Scott Colum? Everyone looking around to see where Scott Colum is. Well, you can see on the results, he got up and he still came fourth. Ryan Marmot gets it from Daryl King. It must have been close.
Needless to say, you're probably a bit gutted.
Yeah, a little bit gutted, you know, like if I got that win in the last one, I would have had the overall, and but I'm still pretty good in the championship. You know, it wouldn't have changed much in the championship, but yeah, you know, it was just a racing incident, and we both weren't backing off, so we wanted the win pretty bad, and that's what happened.
It was just a drag race on who was going to break the last, and we both hit and we went down, and that dropped us back from 1-2 to 3-4.
So the backflips, round 3 of the New Zealand Championship done and dusted, and it's the Aussie on top. Ryan Marmot wins the day from Daryl King, the defending champion, and Ethan Martin. Scott Colum salvages 6th place. We go to Taupo with 1 round to go. Can Scott Colum take his first outdoor senior motocross title, or will it go to the chasing Brock Winston? There's one thing for sure, it'll be all on at Digger McEwen Park for the 4th and final round.
To finish up this week, it's back on the water. It's the Formula Honda boats. The year is 2000 and we're in the Wellington harbour.
This is round 4 of the Formula Hondas. It's all part of the Cougar Marine NX Metals New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Series. 3 different winners from 3 rounds, including last round winner Mike Urquhart.
If I beat Mike Knight, and then I'll be in front of him, I think, or real close, yeah. So between the 3 boats, it could be anyone's. The light industry, Sonic Honda boats all ready to go, and we'll try hard, that's for sure.
Well, these are the guys that are also trying hard. This is Michael Knight and Shannon Thickpenny in Building Solutions.
We did a lot of practice before the season, and we knew we're there or thereabouts. But yeah, we've had a really good, consistent run so far. First, the second, and the third. So yeah, we're looking to continue on.
We've had a few rough races already. Gulf Harbour was pretty up there, and no, I wasn't really that worried about it after a race like that. We managed to stay right side up there, so we can hopefully do it here.
Also in the points hunt, round 1 winner, and that is Mikey Smith.
It's been an awesome start with second equal overall, had a win. Not too well last week, but you know, first and the third, and you can't ask for much more than that, so we're happy. I've been around for 3 years. Of course, in my first season we had a few mistakes. I ended up sinking in Wellington and all those kind of dramas, but you see the experienced guys out there in the tougher races, and they seem to pull through a lot better than some of us youngies. But you know, it always happens. It always helps to have the young muscles in you, I guess, for the end. But no, it's good fun.
Well, you've heard from the main contenders, but add to that mix the likes of Miss Electripar, Mark and Bryce Helms, and also back to base 6, Glenn and Chris Powell from Hamilton, and you can see why this is the most competitive class in the New Zealand offshore scene. Benign conditions here on the Wellington Harbour as we await the start here. A split start this season, so the 100-mile boats go first. 60-mile boats about a minute after the start they will go. This is Kevin Smith on board the Gambler. Kevin is the brother of Grant Smith and the uncle of Mikey Smith. So there is the start from the helicopter, and you can see some of the big classic boats getting away first, and you'll notice that all the Hondas lined out, and that's how the start should be as we go back on board here with Kevin Smith. This is the boat that Kelly Smith started her New Zealand offshore campaign in Formula Hondas 3 years ago now, and you heard Mikey Smith saying he was around at the very beginning as well. Well, he had the ignominy, if you like, of sinking his boat here at the Wellington Round 3 years ago. But we're 4 years up the track now. He's not a boy any longer. He's a man, and he'll be in contention in this one. And so will these guys. This is Michael Knight and Shannon Thickpenny out of Auckland in Building Solutions. And there, just see on the right-hand side of the shot, now that is Mikey Smith, the man we were talking about before, and that is a pass for position. So that is a good all-round start for Mikey Smith and Matty Hopkins. Good start too for back to basic. Glenn and Chris Powell out of Hamilton. Had a consistent performance so far in Formula Hondas, been up there in the top 10 all of the time. As you can see, brilliant conditions and brilliant racing, and look at them line to stern here, the Formula Hondas. It's always close as they work their way into Evans Bay now. So this inner harbour course, if you like, some fantastic vantage points for the spectators as we watch Ray Glass. Now this is Kelly Smith and Travis Thompson just working their way around the outside of the turn. On the inside, it's the battle for the front in the Formula Hondas. Cougar Marine in second, Miss Electripar in third. I said they'd be there. That's Mark and Bryce Helms, and Building Solutions in fourth place at the moment. There is Miss Electripar. Interesting situation, a family battle here, because Bryce Helms is the younger brother of Michael Knight. Michael Knight and Shannon Thickpenny, who you're on board with here, have gone their separate ways this year. Michael driving his own boat, the ex-Tony Coleman Building Solutions boat. Tony, of course, moving up to the Cure Kids Super Boat. And that means that there's bragging rights around the kitchen table. There is Miss Electripar. Mark Helms, all the experience in the world, but he's never had a win in Formula Honda, so he's looking for his first win here in round 4 on a benign Wellington Harbour. There he is, Formula Honda boat still getting plenty of attitude on the slight conditions here. And speaking of attitude, great race there between Team Altitude, now renamed Team For Sale, Tony Todd and Vaughan Warner out of Rotorua, and also Morel Motors from Taupo, Mark and Logan Morel. These guys still in the front. This is back to base 6, so this is their best performance easily so far. You'll see them come through, and there on the right, there is their challenger. This is Mikey Smith and Matt Hopkins in Cougar Marine, and I think that is the pass for the lead in Formula Honda. So Cougar Marine goes into the front, and that is going to help Mikey Smith in the point situation. You're on board here with Building Solutions. Now they're sitting in third place now. They're trying to chase down back to base 6. You'll see back to base 6 up there on the left-hand side of the shot, and Cougar Marine on the right. So there's absolutely nothing in it in this Formula Honda race. Well, we've come to expect it. And even the battle for 4th and 5th is a good one. Miss Electripar and also Building Solutions in there as well. So that's the battle for the bragging rights around the kitchen table. There is back to base 6, and there is Cougar Marine. You can throw a blanket over these 4 as they work their way back into this inner harbour course. They go right down in by the inner waterfront here at Wellington and then turn. This is the Pals in back to base 6, having their best race so far. Cougar in the front. There is, back to base 6. They've got a bit of a problem there, and I think that was the wake of Building Solutions. Miss Electripar goes past, so Mark Helms moves up a spot. That puts them into third place. There's Building Solutions just ahead of them. So there is still nothing in it, and Helms nearly spins out as he goes round the mark. Mike Perro Mortgages is in there as well, and Honda Marine. This is a battle for 5th and 6th place. Now I can tell you that Mike Perro Mortgages has a new navigator on board this time. Well, that's the word we get anyway. It was normally Grant and Cynthia Garrity. Well, now it's Grant and Jason Garrity. Now this is Light Industries. And they got a bit of work to do. They won the last round. And Morel Motors out of Taupo, another combination that's got a little bit to do yet. These guys now veterans of the Formula Honda ranks, have been in around for a long time. And the thing about this class, it is absolutely identical racing. They even have a propeller draw at the beginning of each round. They're all 19-foot Sonic hulls powered by the 150 horsepower, 2.4 litre double overhead cam VTEC 4-stroke Honda engine. And you can see now the gap's starting to open up a bit. That was Mike Perro Mortgages. Grant and Jason Garrity were back on board here with Building Solutions. Now they're still currently sitting in second place. And I think you'll see at the end of that wake ahead of them. So there is Building Solutions. And where is Cougar Marine? There is Cougar, Mikey Smith and Matt Hopkins. Good combination, these two. Cougar Marine is the sponsor. It's the championship winning boat from last year of Chris and Debbie Bartlett. Down past the lighthouse they head now as they begin another lap here, essentially 2 races in one. Well, Grant Garrity's got around back to base 6 and Miss Electropar, so that's another great performance for Grant and Jason Garrity this time. But it is Cougar Marine that is kicked clear. Well, Mikey Smith will have unhappy memories of Wellington. As I mentioned before, in the first round of the inaugural season in Formula Honda, he sunk the boat in terrible, terrible conditions. Building Solutions sitting through in second place now as they begin their outward beat, if you like, back out towards the outer harbour. And Mike Perro Mortgages, Grant Garrity, ex-jet sprint racer, and his son Jason doing the job in the co-pilot seat now, sitting comfortably in third place. Well, comfortable is a relative term in these boats. Certainly with the small chop on the water and certainly with the close racing, they're never quite comfortable. You see there Shannon Thickpenny just having a look to see where the opposition is. Building Solutions sitting in second place, but there's not a lot they can do about it because Cougar Marine has just stretched that elastic band a little bit and it is about to break, I would think. I think Building Solutions may be going to have to settle for second. Well, there is Light Industries. They won the last round. Now they're sitting around about 8th or 9th place at the moment, so things not going well for Darren Woods and Mike Urquhart out of Whangaparoa. And they've got to really get up and get some more points here if they want to stay in the championship contention. So this is the race leader. This is Cougar Marine, Mikey Smith and Matt Hopkins. They have cleared away now. It's so important to get a good start in Formula Honda, but then it's so important to be precise and not make any mistakes, because if you make a mistake, you will pay the price. Miss Electropar back in 4th place now, so they've dropped back a couple, so they've maybe made some small mistakes out there. Here's Mark and Bryce Helms. And as I said before, with all the experience that Mark Helms has got, he's in the marine industry, he's been racing boats for a long, long time. He has never won a round of Formula Honda, and he's not going to do it here in Wellington as well. Mike Perro Mortgages, Grant and Jason Garrity. Another one of the veterans of Formula Honda now, been around right from the very start. Get a lot of help from Ericsson Honda. These guys out of Havelock North, and they travel to all of the rounds. Second place, Building Solutions. Well, Michael Knight is a veteran, but normally in the navigator's seat with his father. That was the case last year. This time, he's out with his own boat. Cougar Marine, though, heading towards the finish flag here. The 60-mile race just about done for Formula Honda. Round 4 of Formula Honda just about done. But the championship situation is not too much clearer. Will it put Cougar Marine out in the front? There he is, Matty Hopkins looking over. And they know they've got the win. The thumbs up from Mikey Smith and Matty Hopkins in Cougar Marine. They get some help from Makita as well. And they win here on Wellington. So they win on home water. Second place will be Michael Knight and Shannon Thickpenny in Building Solutions. And in third place, it is Grant and Jason Garrity and Mike Perro Mortgages. Fourth is the father and son combination of Mark and Bryce Helms, and in fifth it's back to base 6.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's great to get another win under the belt. It looks like we've bent one of the steering rods again, which we did exactly the same last race, but we'll get it fixed properly within 2 weeks. That should be fine. We're always supportive of each other, no matter who wins. You know, it's like winning's good, but when it comes down to it, the mates out there is always tight, so that's good.
Well, that's it for a jam-packed Retro Motorsport. See you guys next week, episode 28.
You'd have to say it, we're back on
forward with the circuit here at Piha. Here's the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers.